right, we are just spooling up. Hello to everybody. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Amy and I are at the home. Just picked up the kids from school, or some of them rode the bus, some of them got picked up. One of them was caught in a miscommunication about whether they were going to get picked up or ride the bus.
Not one of my better parenting days.
Yeah. They thought that we were picking them up and we had intended for them to ride the bus. And anyhow, it all worked out.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Molly
back home.
now has a story that she can use against me for the rest of her life.
Well,
about, like being left outside the school in the rain.
Yeah, she wasn't super excited about that. We're here with Artemis, who you can't see. Well, unless I do this. Artemis, you want to say hello? And then Silver, the cat, laying down there. And we've got Willie and Leon Russell on the box. And we, oh, you got to see this. These two are going. Okay, we're back. The reason that we wanted to say hello to everybody is we wanted to do two things. One, tell you what a great time we had this weekend in Katy, Texas, in Fort Bend County with Eliz Markowitz, who's running for the state house. She's a Democrat, and she's in a special election that will be decided on the 28th of January, not too far from where we are right now, and early voting starts the 21st, so really soon, about a week away. And if she wins, she'll be the first Democrat to ever represent the 28th House District in the Texas State Legislature. She'll be a great voice on issues of public education, a great vote on gun sense legislation, and I think her history in the district, she's born and raised there, means that she'll be a passionate advocate for infrastructure funding, given the fact that the greater Houston-Fort Bend area has seen so many 500-year floods in just the last 5 years, and because of climate change, we are going to see more of them more frequently, more devastating, and having someone who's going to vote to confront climate change before it's too late, as well as invest in the stormwater infrastructure and drainage to make sure that our communities are resilient in the face of climate change, well, that's who we want in the state legislature. That's why we're getting behind her. But if she wins, because it is conventionally held to be such a long shot, it'll send shockwaves through the system here in Texas. It'll make it much more likely that we pick up another 8 seats, after which Democrats will have a majority in the state house for the first time since 2001. And that means that ahead of redistricting, we can draw fair maps that bring in more of our fellow Texans, especially in communities of color that have literally been written out of our democracy, where votes have been suppressed and people have been kept out from participating in the political process. So this race could not be more important, and we want to invite you to join us on this weekend. That is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, to knock on doors with me. Amy's going to be, maybe not this weekend, but the next weekend. But a great group of volunteers and everyday Texans who are coming together from Katy and Fort Bend and Houston and Southeast Texas, but really all over the state. We had folks like the O'Rourkes come in from El Paso, folks from Austin, from Dallas, from Longview, from places in between. I just realized I was gonna have to name every city. There were 90 cities that sent somebody. It was kind of like, the Homeric epics, where there were, from every single part of the Greek islands converging in one place. So that's what we're doing right now. We'd love for you to join us. There is a link that Cynthia just posted that should be at the bottom of your screen. It's pinned, and it is basically BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28. And if you click on that, you sign up, we'll have you out this weekend. And just a few highlights, and I shared some of this with Amy, and those of you who are with us, certainly got to experience it. But in addition to knocking on doors, which is the point, and it's the reason that we want you to come down and join us, We also had a really good time. We had a reception Friday night where a couple hundred people came together to enjoy home-cooked meals.
I didn't know it was home cooked.
It was home-cooked.
For several hundred people?
Yeah, I mean, the person who cooked it is a professional. So she knew what she was doing, but it was like nobody had to bring dishes. It was all provided for us. It was really
That's amazing.
a sweet setup. And then the next day, it wasn't home cooked. It was Rudy's. But Rudy's breakfast tacos or breakfast burritos, they were great. And then you were kind of on your own for lunch. You know, maybe pack some, protein bars or stop for a sandwich. And then we had dinner at this place called Grazia Saturday night. And again, everyone pays their own way for dinner, but it was so fun. It was kind of everything that I hoped it would be. There were, again, a couple hundred people who came together, folks who hadn't seen each other in a while, who could reconnect, but also people who had never met before, who after that dinner became friends and cannot wait to come back for the next weekend. And we want you to join this community of volunteers who are working so hard on this incredibly important race. And this race, again, is the front lines of democracy. It's the front lines of the elections that will take place in the state of Texas over the course of 2020. And really, it's on the front lines what we hope to do for this country. You have 38 electoral college votes in Texas. So the Democratic nominee against Donald Trump, if she or he were able to win those 38 electoral college votes, that more than anything else, Texas more than any other state, could definitively and decisively put Donald Trump away. We would not have to worry about it. There'd be no question about the results in that election. We know that we'll win the popular vote. Texas, through the Electoral College, ensures that we, in a very resounding way, win the Electoral College vote as well. All that begins this weekend in Fort Bend.
Okay,
What?
I was going to give a quick view of Silver was like perched on that table, and it looked like she was like watching the record player, listening to the music. It was awesome. But
there we go. So that's what we got to tell you. We want you to join us, and you can sign up below. It's BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28.
can you share a funny story from the weekend? Like something that caught you by surprise or...
Yeah. We knocked on a woman's door, and I remember her. So when you're knocking on doors, you use a little app, and your app says, here's the person's name, here's, how likely they are to vote at all. And basically you just go with that. So you can say, hey, Amy, my name's Beto O'Rourke. I'm knocking on doors for Eliz Markowitz. I support her for the following reasons. Want to make sure you know about the election and want to see if we can count on your support for Eliz Markowitz. And in this case, there was a woman, her name was Miriam, I don't know how you pronounce it actually, Moriam. I just remember it being on the list. And we knocked on her door and she answered, and she was so surprised and happy to see us. And I think she had been a big supporter of mine in the Senate and presidential races. And she was just so excited, brought so much energy to the door, and made us all, happy, and we were laughing.
Was there a video going around of this where
And
she's
somebody-
like jumping up and down and
Yes.
running inside and running back outside?
And her kids are like, what's the big deal? Like, why are you excited to see this guy? And that probably is the correct response. But that was really nice. And there were other people. We took the precarious step of knocking on doors during a Texans game, and it was a game in which they were eliminated from contention, but we did it nonetheless because this election is so important, and we only have a few weekends within which to work to meet all these voters. And we knocked on this one door, and it turned out they were having a party in the garage, playing pool, drinking beer, smoking cigarettes, watching the game. And everyone was having a good time, invited us in, and that was nice as well. Definitely had one or two people who were not excited, to see me. There were, and that's part of knocking on doors, and it's certainly part of what happens when you are willing to talk to everyone. Not just your hardcore Democrats, but those who are independents and those who may have voted Republican in the past, but who you want to invite into this election. You don't want to presume anything about them. You don't want to write them off we're already polarized, we're already divided enough. Don't exacerbate that or reinforce that in the way that you campaign. So that was great. I think the dinner Saturday night was super fun for me, catching up with people that I hadn't seen since some of our past campaigns, and then just meeting people from the Fort Bend and Houston area who I'd never met before, and just getting to hear their stories and understand why they're in this. And then we got to hear Eliz speak, and she is, if you haven't seen this,
she has amazing energy.
Yeah, some folks think I have energy. I've got nothing on Eliz. She is just amazing, and it energizes you if you've been around someone like that. It's a transference of energy. There's a video I posted on my Twitter account, and my Twitter account is Beto O'Rourke, and we may have posted it on Facebook as well. And it's my comment under the video was, this is why I support Eliz. It is her talking about our governor, Greg Abbott, banning all refugees, like 100% of all incoming refugees to the United States from settling in Texas. It's stupid. It is a denial of our self-interest. It's a denial of our history. It's a denial of what our future could be. So much of our success is owed to these immigrants and asylum seekers and refugees who call Texas home, and who've called Texas home as far back as the O'Rourkes in the 19th century and early 20th century, and every other family from every other country, right? But Eliz, in very personal terms, talked about her family members who fled Nazi-occupied Austria, and those who made it to the United States and were welcomed by this country and settled here and became successful. And now their descendant is a successful educator and running for the state house in Texas. But she also talked about those family members who were unable to make it here and who were murdered in the Holocaust. And just very poignant, very powerful reminder of why this election and this moment and this year are all so important. And would love for you to check that out, just to get a sense of who she is and how powerfully she can speak about the things that are most important to us. So those are some things that stand out from the last weekend that we spent with Eliz, but we want you to see for yourself. And so certainly if you're anywhere in the Brazoria, Fort Bend, Harris County area, Southeast Texas, maybe all the way out to Beaumont, you've got no excuse. Come out and join us. If you are a little bit further out, as we are here in El Paso, Texas, Gassi 800 miles, what have you got to lose? Do what I did last weekend and drive out there.
And if you can't drive, you can always phone bank, which...
You can always phone bank, and you can sign up at BetoO'Rourke.com to do that. And we'd love to have you join us as a volunteer. And you can also donate if you want to support the software that we're using for our phone bankers and for our block walkers and for our systems as we build this out for other races. If you want to support the organizers that we have who are helping to mobilize all these volunteers, you can make a donation there too. We really, really, really appreciate it. Hey, Stets Bryant, I just saw Stets on there, who you met in Lubbock on the 4th of July in 2017.
Yep.
And I see Stets on there. I see a lot of really good friends and some
I'm laughing as you try to read the...
I know, you talk and I'm going to try to read. So we were at the movies recently, and we were at Alamo Drafthouse. For my money, that's the theater to go to in El Paso. And the movie's over and I'm paying the tab. And it wasn't just that the movie theater was dark. It's just that my eyes don't work anymore. I couldn't read the bill. And so now I remember my dad doing this when I was a kid, having to pass the bill over to my mom or to one of us to read it and be able to put the tip on. So I'm at that age now, and I'm not yet at the point where I'm willing to go out and see an eye doctor and get glasses. But thank God, if it comes to that, we have insurance and we'll be able to do that. But yeah. So I'm gonna get really close and try to read the. Thank you, Elisa.
I saw
you have a fan in Emily here. Yeah.
From Buster, who I couldn't tell if he said he was there this past weekend or he'll be there this weekend. But either way, that's awesome.
We also, so we had 400 canvassers this last weekend, literally exactly 400. We had 416 sign up, 400 showed up, which is pretty good by my book. And we had the top 10 canvassers, who I don't know if they want their names shared. I can share their first names. A gentleman named Brian was number one. Claire, who you know from Dallas, was second. Your friend, Chrissy, was third or fourth, followed closely by Jack from the baseball team, who was fourth or fifth, and then on down the list. And I had a chance to call our top 10 finishers today to thank them for what they did and to encourage them to come out again and bring that back to this next weekend. I'm going to flip the record. Amy's going to tell you more about this weekend.
Well, unfortunately, I won't be there this weekend. Was trying to get there, but anyway, a lot of logistical issues. So I'm going to actually be with Beto down there, not this weekend, but next weekend. So after early voting has ended, and we can tell who had committed to vote, but who had not gone out to vote at that point, and go knock on their door and make sure that on the Tuesday after that they're showing up bright and early to vote. So I'm really excited to get down there.
Yeah. I've been telling Amy all these stories about the different volunteers. There's one volunteer, Dan, who opened up his home into our field headquarters. And Dan works in oil and gas and works out on these rigs. And so he's, going offshore soon. And so he's one of these jobs where he's 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And the 2 weeks off where he's back in Fort Bend, I mean, this guy who's working so hard already is opening up his home, is out there canvassing. I did a canvass with him. So there was this one, I'll tell you a funny story. I was out canvassing with Dan, and I think Chrissy was with us as well, and Cynthia. And guy drove by and he's like, hey, between us, I've got my AR-15 and I'm gonna go shoot some stuff. And I said, okay, good for you. Good luck out there. And then he drove around, he's in a big truck. He drove back around and he's in the truck with his son. His son's in the passenger seat, maybe 14, 15 years old. And he stops the truck and he's like, hey, would you mind if I took a picture with you? I said, no, that's absolutely fine. Come on over. And so he opens his door, jumps out of the truck, but has neglected to put the truck in park. It's still in drive.
I have done that.
You've done that?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I'm shaking his son's hand. I'm saying, hey, I'm Beto O'Rourke, and kind of telling his son a little bit about what we're doing. And the look on his son's face as he sees the truck start to move forward with nobody in the driver's seat. He's got his seatbelt on, and he's like maybe gonna start taking it off. And then his dad realizes what's going on and then jumps back in the driver's seat, but can't swing his legs over to get the brake. And so he's trying to jam it in park. And ultimately does. But that was funny because nothing bad happened. But it could have been a bad deal. But those are the kind of some of the encounters we have. And we also meet really nice people. We met a lot of people who would see us knocking on doors and come up and talk to us. I didn't know that there was an election on the 28th. Tell me about Eliz Markowitz, and we'd sign them up to vote. Others who couldn't vote, green card holders, one who came up to me and said, look, I can't vote, don't have citizenship, but I sure would love to help you. And if I can volunteer or canvass, young man who was a dreamer was one of our volunteers. So again, doesn't have citizenship, can't vote, is in a precarious situation where he doesn't know how long he'll be protected from deportation, but he's going to do everything he can to help win this election. So those were some of the positive experiences.
Yeah.
Did I interrupt you from something else you were going to ask me or say?
I don't think so. There's a few comments on our Christmas tree.
Yeah, here it is. This is classic.
Amy.
No, both of us.
Well, you can see the ornaments still out on our table.
By April, that Christmas tree will be gone. I promise you.
Well, so people are wondering what we're going to do with it. This is our second year of buying a live Christmas tree that we will go plant in my sister's backyard. But yeah, I think it was April when we finally planted it last year.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think so.
I joked about that, but maybe.
Yeah, no, we'll get it. February maybe.
Okay, we're getting a lot of, yes, Cheryl, you hear Willie out there. This is the Willie and Leon record, or maybe one of the Willie and Leon records. There may be more, but it's a double album. We want you to join us in Fort Bend, Katy, Texas this weekend. Please sign up. It's BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28. A lot of good people. Amy knows them because she's met them here in El Paso. She's met them out on the road. Those of you who are those good people who are with us, you know who you are and you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have yet to meet them or become one of them by volunteering in this incredibly important election, here's your chance, and we hope that you join us. Lisa is sending love from Phoenix. Lisa, much love back out to you. Some folks are offering to come help with the Christmas tree and taking down our... We also have Christmas decorations actually throughout the rest of the house.
Molly said, when is Valentine's Day? And I said, oh, it's in a month. And she said, you think we can get our Christmas decorations down by then?
Yeah. Sometimes, in some ways, Molly is more the adult or the parent on some important things. She is so much more organized than I am. Maybe sometimes than you are on some of this stuff.
Yeah. Priorities.
Priorities. Somebody says, I'm happy to know I'm not the only person who hasn't taken my tree down. We have Brandy in Topeka. Brandy, what is the drive time from Topeka to Katy, Texas? Hey, there's Kunti from Springfield.
Hi, Kunti.
Now, Kunti, you and JB have got to come join us. Bring Mike Stevens and Kate down with you as well, and come spend the weekend with us. It is a ton of fun. Oh, I should have mentioned this. If you go to BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28 and you don't have money for a hotel room, we will do our best to put you up in supporter housing. That was one of the great stories from this weekend. Not only did people make us food or provide breakfast for us, not only did Dan open up his home, but we had a ton of supporter housing. So if you need a couch or a spare bed while you're in town, we can set you up with that. Others have the resources to be able to pay for a hotel. There is a link at the bottom of my screen, hopefully at the bottom of yours. If you click on that, Cynthia Fuentes Cano has posted it. It's BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28. That is your link to be able to sign up and join us. All right. I think I saw Lakshmi say that she is going to block walk for Eliz this weekend.
Awesome.
There's somebody who's written Trump 500 times in their post. Very creative of you. Kunti says she's gonna do it. Does that mean she's gonna do it? We hope so. Luis, come up from the Rio Grande Valley. We'd love to see you. Thank you, Jim. Alex says saludos. Good to see you, Alex. Storm, who came down from Cincinnati, just posted. And Storm, thank you. We had 400 people from 12 states in the District of Columbia, 90 cities. Storm was one of them from Cincinnati, Ohio. Storm just said he stayed in supporter housing, and there was a hot tub. Now, I cannot promise you that there will be a hot tub, but I can promise you will have a good time, hot tub or no. So come join us.
All right. Let's go help Henry with his homework.
All right. It's time for us to do it. Sarah from Katy says hello from Katy. Sarah, you've got to be joining us. I hope that you are. Amanda, thank you so much. So look, we'll sign off. If you can join us, please do. The link's at the bottom, BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28. If you cannot join us, would you mind sharing that link with the people in your life to see if you know anybody who can join us? And if you cannot join us, but you can make a donation, we'd love to have that as well. Everything helps right now, and this could not be a more important election, though unfortunately it flies under the radar because it's a state house race, it's a special election, and it's a runoff to a special election, and it's in January. This is not when people have elections or campaigns or political races on their minds. So what's the answer to that? It could be spending a bunch of money, which Eliz's opponent is going to do. He's self-funding this campaign. He'll pour hundreds of thousands in. Or we can bring the power of people to bear. And that's what we are choosing to do. And we are all the people who need to be able to stand up to be counted and help others enter this election. So Love you guys. Thank you for all of the support. I just saw, and let me give her a shout out because that is so nice. Deidre just said that she made a donation. Thank you, Deidre. It is gratefully received and much appreciated over here, and certainly by Eliz Markowitz in that race that we're all helping out in House District 28 in Fort Bend County. Any parting words, Amy, as Willie and Leon take us out?
No, just excited to see you all next weekend.
We'll see you all soon. BetoO'Rourke.com/HD28. Please join us. Look forward to seeing you. When you sign up, we'll give you details on the reception Friday night, on the dinners Saturday and Sunday, and how you can make sure that you're signed up for the right shift to Block Walk. We'll see you soon. Adios. Bye-bye.